big news, really, for US national team circles has been how many men's national team players are in the Champions League squads right now. We have a record 10 players this season who play for the Stars and Stripes. And this week is a big one coming up. We have Juventus against Barcelona, which potentially is Cristiano Ronaldo and Weston McKinney against Lionel Messi and Sergio Dest, which, these old rivals doing battle once again. Ronaldo and Messi. Obviously, Ronaldo's coming off the back of a COVID test and is we're going to find out if he is available to play for Juventus against Messi and his old foes at Barcelona. But Juve and Barca both going through transitional periods, new managers, battling to patch things up on the pitch. But Nick, I'm going to come to you. Who do you think has the edge in this one? And I'm going to ask you this question to both of you guys. Do we ever think that Messi and Ronaldo can play on the same team? Because over the years, they've kind of started to become a bit more friendly, a bit more cordial. God knows how many FIFA and UEFA award ceremonies they've been at together. So finally, they're mates. But Nick, what do you expect in this one? And what do you expect from those two going forward?
So I'm not sure what to make of this one, if only because Juve has started poorly this season. Relatively speaking, and so has Barca. I think Barca might have more depth in attack, in young attack, though. So is that reliable? Pirlo is the X factor here. What's his plan? Something we're going to get to in a little bit that I absolutely love. So make sure you ask me about it again. Is there was a report today that we may see Weston McKinney in a back three, which as a U.S. men's national team, I love. So let's talk about that in a bit. But I think the edge goes to Juve just through veteran leadership, especially if Ronaldo plays. And I believe Piqué on a red card, right? So that definitely hurts Barca's backline. As for will they ever end up on the same team, I like our chances of seeing Messi at New York City and Ronaldo at Inter Miami. I think it fits kind of what we're seeing. Should Ronaldo be allowed in the States, but that's a story for another day. I just don't see both ending up in Qatar or China. Maybe PSG on a super team if Neymar can be convinced to stay. But I don't know. What do you guys think?
Yeah, I don't want to see it. I don't think I like I like having them as the the foil for one another. That's the way it's been for the last I guess decade, essentially, since Ronaldo left United, and even since he's gone to Juventus, they're still finding ways to kind of get at each other and link up on the field. So I don't want them to. I think they could probably. I don't know, but there's not enough shots in a game, I guess, for those two to split up between them. Think about the other 9 guys on the field. They'd never get a touch of the ball. They'd never get a look at goal. But yeah, no, I don't ever want them to. And I just think it's so it's almost mind blowing. I'm listening to Joe say Cristiano Ronaldo, and I thought he was going to say and Messi facing, and he says and Weston McKinney. And then Lionel Messi and Sergio. It doesn't. The brain can't comprehend the fact that these two might face off with one another on Wednesday if Ronaldo's back, and they're going to each have a fairly important American player potentially in the starting lineup with them as well that are going to be relied upon to kind of foil the other one as well. McKinney in the middle with when Messi's cutting inside, and then Dest on the far side. He's going to be the one, anytime Ronaldo drifts out to the wing, that's going to be responsible for him. So they're directly going to be involved in kind of that head-to-head matchup of those two, superstars, all-time greats.
And obviously, that's pretty much the undercard, right? Messi against Ronaldo. We're looking forward to McKinney against Dest. That's the main event. And Nick, obviously, Dest made history when he played in Clasico, first U.S. national team player in history to do that. How did he play? He's still only a teenager, but I mean, he has really started life very well, it seems, at Barcelona and in La Liga. He seems to really be trusted by Ronald Koeman already.
When you're writing about an American in a big game like that, especially as an American, you're prepared to downplay how he did. I mean, it's just kind of how you don't want to be showing bias. He was very, very good on a day that really only Frankie de Jong and Ansu Fati showed up for the whole 90 minutes. Dest was right there. 95% passing, 5 of 6 dribbles completing. That was a game high. 8 of 13 duels won. Vinicius did almost nothing on his side. And perhaps more important, there's that viral video of, remember in his first game against Canada, Davies kind of worked him. He did that to Marcelo. So there's an evolution there. I am so impressed. I didn't know if he was ready to be a starter at that level, but there is hardly a higher level than El Clasico.
Andy, Mckinney as well seems to have really been solid, and Pirlo's really counted on. I think when he moved to Juve from Schalke, we all kind of thought it's a bit of a weird move, but it's going to be good for him. But how often is he going to play? But he seems to be trusted already, and obviously he's had issues with the positive COVID test, but he's come back from that. How important is he to Juventus moving forward under Pirlo?
Yeah, well, I think it became clear almost immediately that the fact that he was signed, one of the first, if not the first player signed after Pirlo took over as the manager, and then he immediately went straight into the team for him as well. You know, a first-time manager like Pirlo is always probably going to play it a little bit more on the safe side with how he sets his team up tactically and everything. And so I guess Mckinney kind of fits into that, being a little bit more of a destroyer, a linker of play versus someone who kind of really ventures forward. And I know you mentioned the fact that he might play there along the three-man back line and everything. So he's a nice little utility piece, I think, for Pirlo to have, and he has gotten regular run of games when he's been available to play. So it's been pretty positive. I would hope, I think you could even say you would expect him to really grow and evolve as a player tactically, the mental side of the game, going and playing in Italy and playing for a manager like Pirlo and with some of the quality veterans, just incredibly smart international players that are in that team as well that he works with on a day-to-day basis. I think probably maybe 6 months or a full season, we will really see growth from Weston McKennie after making that move to Juventus, which, obviously one of the biggest clubs in the world, but just one of the best places to go and be a part of a well-oiled machine. I guess probably the second best outside of Bayern Munich.
Pretty much. And obviously a player who's done very well and progressed extremely well at a big club is Christian Pulisic. I can see the sign behind you there, Andy. It's a spooky theme there. Halloween coming up. I like it. Obviously, he's good mates with McKennie. He is pretty much the leading light for US players in the world now, of course, but especially in the Champions League. So you have him at Chelsea, Gio Reyna ripping things up at Dortmund, Tyler Adams a bit injury prone at the moment at Leipzig, been really unlucky there. But as you said at the top of this, 10 US men's national team players are on Champions League squad this season. It's a record. And how big of a deal is this for the US national team, Andy? How big of a deal is this?
It's huge. I mean, we've never been. We used to make a big deal out of one player starting or coming off the bench in a group stage game in the Champions League. That used to be, the Twitter equivalent of the alarms going off. Everybody get to your TV. You got to see these final 8 minutes to see how this guy does with 3 touches of the ball. That's where we're coming from not so long ago, not even 10 years, like 5 years ago, maybe 4 or 3 before Pulisic really, exploded and started to carry that torch. So it really is a big thing for an individual level. Now, for another day, how do they take all those great quality, talented pieces and put them together into one men's national team? We'll worry about that hopefully in 2022. But no, it's just, it's to me, I can't even wrap my brain around it. It's incomprehensible that we have this many players at the clubs that they're at. They're not at, all due respect, Genk, just getting in as the 4th team in a group to be slaughtered. They're at the big teams now.
Big boys. Yeah, they are. Nick, same question for you, really. How big of a deal is this? And who do we expect to go furthest this season? I mean, McKennie with Juve, Pulisic at Chelsea, Reyna at Dortmund. Who do you think's actually got a chance of going to the latter stages and maybe even winning the Champions League with their team?
Holy cow, what a question. Barca has Messi, so you can't rule them out, although as poor as they look. Pulisic is, and we'll talk about Chelsea later. I don't know what to make of them because they have all the pieces. You have to arrange the puzzle, but I think they have all the pieces. I might go for Reyna. Incredible chemistry with Haaland. And the reason I say that, even though they lost to Lazio in the first game, is I also think they have a chance to come out of that group in a good spot. They're going to dodge Bayern for a little while as well. And I think Bayern is the favorite just by virtue of them being in the same country. So I don't necessarily love picking any over the other, but I'm going to go with Reyna as long as a big day coming up for him, by the way, when Lucien Favre plays his next Classicer, because if you have a manager who believes in you as a 17-year-old and another manager comes in, as much as we love Reyna, we don't know what will happen. So everybody, every American, even the Bayern fan, should probably be rooting for a good showing from Dortmund in a couple of weeks.
And how excited are you, Nick, as a US national team fan, to see all these young players really, as Andy said, not at mid-level teams in Europe. They're at the big boys and they're playing and they're doing really well.
As opposed to saying, "Can I get an amen?" with you being overseas, can I get an over the moon? Is that British parlance enough here? I love it. I'm so happy. I remember when we were talking about Dempsey and is it an okay move for him to go from Fulham to Spurs? And now if you go to NBCSports.com, you go to our site and you search the 25-man rosters for the Premier League, there's another 10 kids who are US eligible in the academies. Mm-hmm. That was insane to me. Robinson, Reams, Stefan, who's going to play real meaningful games for them, at least early in the season. So, man, it's the best. As someone who's gone to so many U.S. games, even as a fan before I was a writer, this is the best time to be a U.S. fan ever.
There you go. That's a good way to leave that segment. Very positive vibes for the U.S. national team as a host of the star young players are in Champions League action, and we'll keep you updated with how that's all going on Pro Soccer Talk. Don't worry about that. It's going to be a very, very big week for Americans abroad.